There's no better pairing in this world than dinner and YouTube. And one evening, while consuming my rations, I ended up watching Nathaniel Bandy's video, Can You Beat Mario 3D All-Stars Without Touching Colors? It was a really solid video, but in the Mario Galaxy segment, he only made it to level 2 of Good Egg Galaxy, despite his best efforts and totaled 2 stars. The speedrunner part of me watching could only think that if he used speedrun tricks, he could probably keep going, but I can't expect him to learn them just for a video, so I guess someone else will have to do it. Fine, guess I'll do it. Today, we're gonna find out if you can really beat Super Mario Galaxy without touching colors. A few ground rules before we start the challenge. First, we'll be doing the challenge as Luigi, since he can jump higher, and we can avoid all the colors in the Mushroom Kingdom intro since we just don't have to do it. I'm also safe from colors as long as I'm in a cutscene, since I have no control over Luigi at that time. We're also not counting star bits as touching colors, because their colors are randomized and it's kinda lame since star bits are absolutely everywhere. Lastly, I'll be using the second player to pull off some tricks with the mid-air high jump that allows us to skip some colors at certain points. And it just looks cool. With all that said, we can start the challenge in the gateway and lose almost everything before our first star, because right as we start, we're forced to stand on a patch of flowers that are white with a little bit of blue, yellow centers, all on green grass, so that takes out 4 colors immediately. So far so good. We follow the Star Bunny to its friends and then lose the color purple till more flowers are forced to stand on, which puts us at 6 colors down just to deal with catching these stupid rabbits. We do the runaround with them, avoiding touching any grade the best we can, and talk to Rosalina where she entrusts a total stranger with one of her children, which for some reason also gives us the ability to spin. And then immediately after that, we lose the color orange to this launch star. On the second planet, the only color we risk touching is gray on the pedestal here. But with a well-timed spin jump, we can avoid it and reach the next 2 planets to free this Luma, and of course we can't talk to it unless we stand on the gray metal. Luckily, there are no more colors left in this stage we need to avoid, and we get our first grand star with only red, black, and pink still in our back pocket. After some long cutscenes, which yes, are in Korean because it's the fastest language to play the game on, we enter our first level, Good Egg Galaxy. Luckily, the first 2 planets don't have any of our colors that we need to avoid, aside from the black walls on this path here, but you can just not run into them. The third planet features a piranha plant that Bandy lost the color red to so that he could spawn the vine, but with the 2P jump, or a precise triple jump, we can reach the next planet without touching red. Dino Piranha itself doesn't have any red, pink, or black, so we can get our second star and move along to Good Egg 2. This will be the last time I reference Bandy's video because he had to interact with the Hungry Luma later in the level and lost his final color, pink. Usually, we would need to do the same, but by utilizing a very unique trick, we can skip ever having to see the Hungry Luma with a crystal float. We do lose the color black by needing to get against the wall to set it for the float, but with magic powers and, variables in the game code or something, we can land on a very specific part of this crystal, and it'll allow us to gain height as long as the crystal stays on screen. And with the right maneuvering, we can go from the very first planet right to the star, with pink and red still untouched. From here on out, we're in uncharted territory. Honeyhive Galaxy is available to us now that we have 3 stars, but I opt to head back into Good Egg to get our 3rd star in there from King Caliente. The only concern in this level is this roof, which is red, orange, a little bit of both. But we can get on top without touching it, and jump over this pinkish border here on the Chomp planet. We clobber King Caliente and move into Honeyhive 1, where we almost risk losing pink, since we need to reach these flowers on this segment here by flinging off this dandelion. But instead of taking the path Miyamoto intended, we can just do a far more complicated 2P jump all the way onto this tree here to skip pretty much the entire level and get a star from Toad. Honeyhive 2 takes us the same route as 1 to get up onto this tree without touching red or pink, and we climb up to the top of the windmill to fight against the Mandibug stack, which presents us with a small problem because once we kill the little guy, the big guy turns red, and it's the only thing standing between us and the star. I left the level, since we had another galaxy available to us, and hopped into Loop-de-Loop Galaxy, which makes us only touch the ground at the beginning, the ray, and the water, so we're safe. Unfortunately, we're 2 stars short of the boss of the dome, and the only star available to us is Honeyhive 2. So we have to take the L and lose the color red to continue on our journey. We quickly grab the 1 star in Flip Switch Galaxy, which is thankfully pink free, but Honeyhive 3 has pink right on our path. After the queen asks us to defeat Bugaboom, we need to pick up the bee mushroom and fling ourselves off these dandelions to reach the boss arena. Fortunately, we can do a 2P jump to... I said we can do a 2p jump to reach the platform here, and once again to reach Bugaboom. First try. Bugaboom itself doesn't have any pink in the fight, and with 3 hits, the boss is defeated and we can move on to Megaleg. Upon landing in the level, we can do a quick 2p jump to reach the boss planet, and Megaleg has no pink on it until we reach the glass dome where the Grand Star is in, but only the Bullet Bill has to touch it. After it dramatically blows up and the Grand Star presents itself, we're placed right on top of this part of the ground here, which looks beigeish white but could also be a really light shade of pink. Regardless of its color, it looks like it's under the glass since the reflection runs over it, so even if you wanted to say it's pink, we didn't directly touch it, so we're safe and we can now move on to the fountain. Our first and only stop here is Space Junk Galaxy, and Space Junk 1 is a somewhat tedious level that might have pink in it, but hey, I wouldn't know, because I use this trick to change our gravity and go from the beginning of the stage all the way to this little blue planet here, over here where we 2p jump into the Sling Star, grab these 5 silver stars, and get the Power Star, pink free. Rolling green is a lot less complicated, since this level doesn't have any pink until the very end on the flag that we need to climb up so we can reach the star. Psych, 2p jump. Space Junk 2 takes us all the way to Camilla to assault her with shells that defy the laws of physics, and while her ship has pink along its edges, we can just stay away from it and defeat her for the star. I was planning on heading into Space Junk 3 next, but I was pulled out of the fountain for an astronomy lesson on prankster comets that are actually incredibly useful to us, because these comets usually just make us replay a star we've already done, but with a twist. So if the level didn't have any pink, then we basically get free stars. This allows us to get the comets in Good Egg and Space Junk, which are just speedruns of the first levels of each with a very generous timer. Re-entering normal Space Junk for Star 3, we avoid all the pink that doesn't sit on our path and squash the Space Spider Tyranotox for another free star. At this point, we have Battle Rock Galaxy available to us, but I decided to leave it be for now and do Bowser, because if that level has pink in it, we won't be able to progress any further into the game and it would make going through Battle Rock just a waste of time. Right as we enter the stage, we die. Dying will respawn us just a tiny bit further into the level, right before this gravity section, with a pink section. We need to pass through it to cross this gap, and I thought the challenge might be over. But I jumped into it anyway and saw that there was a shadow under Luigi showing exactly where he stood, and he wasn't touching the pink itself, he was just standing in front of it. I let out a sigh of relief and continued on with the rest of the stage to Bowser, and the planet we fight him on doesn't have any pink on it, which means we get our next Grand Star and entry to the Kitchen Dome, all while so far avoiding pink. Before heading into the kitchen, I take a second to talk to Mailtoad to get the 21 ups from Peach, and the letter's pink. Pack it up, folks, video's over. Just kidding. But we do face a small issue entering the kitchen, since the pipe that powers it is pink and it's right in the doorway. Thankfully, we can just barely squeeze past it and make it inside without touching it. Now inside the Kitchen Dome, the only galaxy we can access is Beach Bowl Galaxy, and with a jump here and here, we can reach the first star pink free, and same with the second star, which just has us stealing some kids' lunch money. Yeah, that's right, hand it over, nerd. After getting that star, we're shown a new galaxy has been unlocked, but I also noticed that a prankster comet was available to us back in Honeyhive Galaxy that I wanted to go take care of. So we're just gonna head out of the kitchen and, well, that's a problem. Well, it seems like a bigger problem than it actually is, because if we just save and quit and then re-enter the file, we'll always be spawned outside without needing to touch the pipe. And there's no pink in the Honeyhive Comet either, which now puts us at 20 whole stars. For reference, we need a minimum of 60 stars and access to the engine dome in order to beat Bowser, so we're a third of the way there. We quickly pick up the Note Star and Hurry Scurry Galaxy, which, upon a frame-by-frame analysis, they go from purple to red, but never pink, so we're still fine. Then we head back to the kitchen so we can enter Beach Bowl 3. The Stone Cyclone has a few sections on the ground that are pink, but it's all easily avoidable with a little bit of platforming and just not walking onto it. And we immediately run it back in the Fast Foe Comet by doing the exact same things. The Secret Star in Beach Bowl pulls us away to a whole other planet, but it has no pink on it whatsoever, which clears the rest of the galaxy. I head over to Bubble Breeze Galaxy from there for the 1 star it has, since it's a quick level that doesn't have any pink in it. Or at least I thought it didn't. In the first area, we need to grab 5 star chips to make a launch star to get to the second area, but one of the star chips is in a corner blocked by mines that move along a pink path. I thought I'd have to leave the level, but I at least wanted to see if there was a way to avoid the tracks, and if we stick against the wall here, it touches the bubble, but not Luigi, which I consider to be safe. We get in, grab the star chip, and get out, and take the launch star to the last area, which is just a backflip and a long jump to the star. I poked my head into Ghostly Galaxy for a quick second since I was pretty sure the floor inside was partially colored pink, and sure enough, as we enter the mansion, there are pink tiles all over the floor. The switch that turned on the light was somewhat touching a pink tile, so to spare myself the maneuvering, I grabbed the invincibility star to kill the boo with the key. But in hindsight, I should have known that wouldn't work, since unlike the notes, it turned me every color. So I just decided I'll come back to Ghostly if I absolutely needed to. The only other thing available to us now is the boss of the dome, which only has some pink enemies in the beginning, but no other pink enemies throughout the rest of the stage. Well, there might be, but I just point the cannon here to skip part of the level, so I wouldn't know. But what I do know is we can sink Bowser Jr.'s airship and get our 4th Grand Star, and we can start tackling the galaxies in the newly opened bedroom dome without touching anything pink. For once, we're given the option to choose between 2 galaxies from the start, Freeze Flame and Gusty Garden, so I entered the objectively better galaxy, possibly even the best in the game since I knew there was no pink to worry about. Star, 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 star. We now have enough stars to enter Dusty Dune Galaxy, but I poked my head into Gusty Garden since I knew the way we float from planet to planet was on pink floating seats, and while it doesn't look like we're touching it, I ultimately decided to play it safe and try to bend over backwards on my logic later if I'm out of options. Star 1 in Dusty Dune was easy and had absolutely no pink, but Dusty Dune 2 has a similar problem to Gusty Garden in the way that these enemies have pink on them, but it looks like we only attack the green part of them. I treated this the same way as Gusty Garden and decided I'd come back here if I absolutely needed to. After all that, we're currently at 32 stars and we need 33 to unlock the next Bowser. Luckily, a new stage in the kitchen opened up for us. Buoy Base Galaxy. The level partially takes place underwater and partially on the tower, which has a little pink on its side, but as long as we 2P jump to the higher platforms, we can avoid it and get star 33. And to avoid the pink pipe to the kitchen, we get the secret green star under the stage that takes us back outside the observatory. Now that we have over half the stars needed to reach the final Bowser, we can defeat the boss galaxy of the bedroom to finally have access to the engine. The stage has a bit of pink in the beginning, but nothing serious. Some of the platforms here are completely pink, but yellow platforms will also cycle through, so we can jump on them, and again, we don't touch the walls in the gravity section, so we're still safe there. Just as I think we're in the clear for the rest of the level, I climbed up this pole and was immediately stopped in my tracks by a stretch of dark matter that would kill us instantly if we touched it, and the only way across was on these pink platforms. It looked impossible, but I had to try to get past it anyway. At first I tried to see if there was a way to get enough distance with a long jump and a small boost, but we were barely close to halfway, so that's not going to work. I then tried to see if I could just barely stand on the yellow corner and somehow make my way across if I could, but when it moved, I fell off and grabbed the ledge, so there was no way I was going to be able to do that either. At this point, there's nothing I could do and I had to accept defeat. At least I thought I did, because while scripting this video, I realized I never tried messing around with backflips, and after some trial and error, I was able to do this. Things were finally starting to look bright again for the challenge, because the only pink left in the level was in another gravity section, so we're able to defeat Bowser, get the Grand Star, and access the observatory engine. As I mentioned earlier, to reach the final Bowser, all we need is access to the engine and 60 power stars, and with the engine unlocked, Rosalina will show us how many more stars we need to reach with a number that, oh my god. Of course, after all the hard work we did to get past the pink platforms in Bowser 2, the game forces us to stand on these numbers, which of course just have to be pink. I can't even try to BS my way out of this one either and say that it's under the glass, because Luigi's shoe literally clips into the ground. The only other idea I had was to go back to before I beat Bowser 2 and try to get enough stars that I won't touch the number on the floor, so I reloaded the save to go back to levels I had left alone earlier. The first galaxy I went back to deal with was Ghostly Galaxy, because it was never impossible to complete, it was just tedious and I was too lazy to deal with it sooner. Of course, we're able to hit the blue switch to turn on this light and get the key from the Boo to progress into the next room, which has the same pink and black tiled floor as before, but it's completely possible to navigate. Just be careful for how abruptly the camera switches. Once we're on the walls, we don't need to worry about pink, so with some Pulsar magic and a very poorly programmed wall, we can get into this room just a little quicker than normal and rescue Luigi, who isn't even fazed by seeing his intergalactic doppelganger. Upon grabbing this star, Rosalina briefly pulls us out of the kitchen to talk about the other Luigi, and right here I came up with a perfect plan to progress. Once you unlock Luigi, you can go talk to him over in the garage, which makes it so he can find stars for you. And when that happens for the first time, you're always forced to talk to Male Toad. After chatting with Luigi, I immediately went back to Bowser 2 and pummeled him again, so when we're sent back to the observatory, we get placed right next to Male Toad and get out of touching the pink numbers, keeping us safe and sound, aside from having to do the hardest star in the game. Now that we finally have access to the engine, we're given the option to either start in Goldleaf Galaxy or Seaslide Galaxy. I started in Goldleaf because Seaslide is a bad galaxy, and thankfully, the first star had no pink in our way. I did end up hopping over to Seaslide after that though, since I remembered it doesn't really have pink. So to get it out of the way, I completed it all in one go by swimming in a big circle, swimming in a big circle, swimming part of the circle, grabbing 5 silver stars, and doing the only Hungry Luma star in this challenge, since we used the cannon to reach the planet instead of a pink launch star. With all that said and done, we clear out Goldleaf and add another 4 stars to our count, putting us at a whopping 47 stars before entering Toy Time Galaxy. I knew going into the stage that there was going to be some pink since it's a very colorful level, but I forgot it would literally be right on our path. I was thinking of trying to find a way into the tube up on top in order to reach the launch star, but I realized that was a stupid idea because I could just jump up here to stand where the screw was and do a precise jump to reach the launch star. The rest of the level has no other pink to worry about, and I followed that star with the Bowser Jr. boss fight of the Dome, which is just a King Caliente refight for the last Grand Star. Oh shoot, oh wait, oh it's gonna make us stand on the number, oh dude, we're screwed. I got you. When we return, we get placed right between the 2 numbers on the ground, so we don't touch them at all and are safe to keep going. With 11 stars left to get, I went back to some of the galaxies I skipped over. Male Toad let us know Luigi somehow trapped himself in another cage, so I ran to Battle Rock Galaxy, and of the 5 stars we grab, none of them have any pink that poses a problem. The only star we can't get here is locked behind the Hungry Luma, which is everyone's favorite trash bombing star. So I mean, are we really missing out? Now going back to the engine, we finish out the rest of Toy Time with the second star giving us no trouble, and star 3 having a little pink on these platforms, and a lot on this cake and the candles, which I did reset to multiple times because I kept accidentally touching the pink. The final planet had a little pink in the strawberries on the floor, and I accidentally touched them as well, but I just avoided them on my second try and collected my reward for all of the dying I did. Continuing the trend of jumping between domes, we collect the singular star in Honeyhive Galaxy, and then immediately go back to the kitchen to finish out the rest of Ghostly Galaxy. Star 2 in Ghostly features a race against the Spooky Speedster, which feels like a gender reveal party, since it's all blue and no pink, but this one doesn't result in a massive forest fire. I started Ghostly 3 before it was pointed out to me that I would have to touch the bomb boost tongues for the boss fight, so I backed out of the level and completed the secret star instead, which marks our 59th star and puts us at just 1 left to reach Bowser. After another save and quit, Male Toad eagerly greets us with our last star, because Luigi was lost again. So we find him in Honeyhive Galaxy and knock him out of a tree like a piñata to collect the final star we need to reach the end. Before entering the final Bowser, we do stand on the numbers in the cutscene, but since I have no control over Luigi, we're still okay. After a long unskippable cutscene, we can select the star to the final obstacle in our path, Bowser's Galaxy Reactor. It's been a while since I played through this star, and I didn't want to be reminded if there was any pink in the way, so I trucked ahead, optimistic of defeating the challenge. The first area had a few pinkish rocks on the ground, but were easily avoidable by walking along the wall here. The fire, ice, and sand planets had no pink on them at all, and the gravity segment has the pink background, but again, since we don't touch the pink itself, we're still safe, and the final stretch of the level didn't have any pink inside of it whatsoever. The only thing left now in the challenge is to defeat Bowser in our final confrontation, and hope none of the phases require us to touch pink. We climb our way up the green and white stairs to begin our battle, knock Bowser's rocks off on the purple planet, hit him with the good old gum gum pistol on the brown planet, and finally take him out with the lava under the blue glass on the final planet, and prove, once and for all, that it is, in fact, possible to beat Super Mario Galaxy without touching colors. Thank you all so much for watching this challenge video. I honestly wasn't sure how far we end up making it, so it's really cool to see we were actually able to complete the challenge. This video was a really fun way to give myself a challenge on the game I know like the back of my hand, and also a chance to show off and implement all my speedrunner knowledge in a very unique way. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Nathaniel Bandy for giving me the idea to try and push this challenge as far as it could go. If for some reason you don't know who Bandy is, check his channel out linked in the description down below. If you also like this kind of video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I might make another challenge video similar to this one. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Take care.